Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Didsbury Art Studio and I'm Sally. And in today's video, something a little bit different. I've been spending a little bit of time doing some beading work and I'd really like to share it with you. If you've done any beading before, this is on fabric and I've based it on coral reefs and see if you're interested. All right then, let's get into it. Okay, so I wanted to use these beads. I've got tons of them, sequins, beads, to create a little beaded sequin coral inspired piece. So I've done some work with the theme corals before, but I haven't done particularly using beading. So what I've done here is I've stretched out some satin that I had and I will insert the photograph of what I'm being inspired by here. And then I am beginning with doing some large sequins with some smaller beads that I've got here. And I'm just going to start creating. I'm using these large sequins. These ones I already had. And then I'm threading up about one or two beads in between each sequin, and I'm doing about 5 sequins. So now that I have got about 5 sequins on there, I'm just going to position those where I would like them to go. So I'm just playing around with the layout. So I'm going to take it down there. And I'll just tie a knot. So now you can see that I'm just playing around with adding similar colour, but a few different beads in there. I want a few more really, but I don't want to go too big. These are just some old bags of costume jewellery. What else could we have in there? That could be good. Let's try this out. All right, that's perfect. That is perfect. Okay, for this next one, I'm going to be using some lavender beads. And I also want to use some sequins. And they are both going to go just underneath here so that I can get a bit of a flow of colours going. Next up, I'm going to be using my needle. By the way, I'm using this needle, I think I've shown it before, this beading needle that you can basically thread so easily. You just pull it apart like that. And I've done double thread thickness, and I'm going to come up from the back of the fabric, a little bit of a sequin on there, and then a little bead over the top. Then I'm going to take my needle down through the sequin and I'm going to do a little cluster of those. That's that little section done. Sometimes I've put a little bead underneath the sequin and over the top, and then I've overlapped them as well. I'm going to use some of these bugle beads. They're really lovely, and I'm going to have them sort of flowing from the blue into the lavender, and we're going to have a little bit more silvery lavender neutrals going on just over here. So I'm planning on using a couple of these different colours in here. And maybe some of these blues, electric blues, love that. And we've got some purples. I'm going to mix them up with these bugle beads and get some height going on over here. Threaded the bugle bead up. I've put another seed bead at the top there, and then I'm going to take my needle back down and then come up again. So bugle bead, pull your needle up, and I'm just going to crack on. These are the bugle beads with the little seed beads on the end. Provides a little bit of texture, which I like. Well, inspo from the image. And then I'm going to use these larger sequins. I've just folded those in half, and then I'm going to use these beads here and work into this little area. Didn't quite enjoy using that combo, if I'm honest with you. I like the idea of folding the sequins in half and getting some sort of structure going, but I don't know how pleased I am with using these larger plastic beads. For the next bit, I am going to crack on with adding a mixture of these greens. I'm going to throw in a few blues in there as well. So I'm just going to play around with different layouts with these beads, but I will probably use a couple of these smaller ones. In between some of these larger green beads. What I'm doing here is I've got some ribbon and I've literally just been sewing down the edge of the ribbon with a tiny little stitch to create some quilling on here with this little ribbon as an extension from the green. Okay, gang, we have finished, and that took hours. Hours and hours. So there's all sorts of different techniques going on in there, and I've even used some washing line there, the red and the pink, and added some little, well, big sequins and stuck some little gems on the front. I also had already some of these gems here, which are really lovely. And then I've used some miniature bugle beads over here with some tiny little beads on top. And then I had tons of these clear beads, which are really beautiful. And then I had a lot of these tusk sequins, and I've got some over here as well. Those are the tall bugle beads that I pointed out before. And then, yeah, just ended up mixing up loads of different techniques in there. I love all the different heights and textures. And I'm probably going to be putting this on the wall somewhere in this room. So I hope you like. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you did, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new here today and you've enjoyed this video. Please share the channel with everybody you know, that would be great. And I shall see you in the very next video. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.